Hello humans, and welcome to another episode of Gen X Gamer. Today we're going to go over Moist Critical's declarations in court. That's right, he appeared in court, and let me tell you, he came in like I thought people thought Carl Jobs would come in, right? He came in wanting all the smoke. He came in with a confidence that Carl seemed to lack in his testimony. Now, when we talked about Carl's deposition, and this is just layman's opinions, guys. These are not legal opinions at all. This is just me giving my opinions, just like many other people are giving opinions on this stuff. And the point of these videos is for you to listen to the actual narration that was put up by Perfect Pac-Man, the website. And you guys can draw your own conclusions, right? Because a lot of people make videos based on what's written here, but they give it their own spin, their own interpretation, like, many YouTubers do, I do, whatever. But it's better if you just listen to it, because I know a lot of people don't have time to read, and you can draw your own conclusions. But I think, Moist Critical came in with the same energy that he came in his videos, right? Where he did exactly what he talks about in his videos, which is the complete opposite of what you saw with Carl. Probably because he's the defendant, he's got more to lose, of course. And Moist Critical, Penguin Zero, he wants all the smoke, right? He wants all the smoke. So that's what we're going to go over here. My voice is completely shot, but this is just a short intro to let you know what you're going to hear, and it's going to go up to the point where they had to stop his testimony because there were some questions regarding some comments and what have you, and it stops there, but you get the gist of his declaration here. All right, guys, have a great one. I'll catch you next time.
Carl vs. Billy, Day 6. By Airzats_cats. We back, folks. Back for another round from the Brisbane defamation trial between disgraced gaming cheater Billy Mitchell and absolute legend Carl Jobst. With the plaintiff's case out of the way, and Carl Jobst and David Race having already testified for the defense, Day 6 was just for the rest of Carl's roster. On Day 5, both barristers pledged to pound through the rest of the testimony in a single day, and that they did. As a result, we got treated to a lot of establishing questions from our good friend KB, some desperate skepticism from his friend BB, as you'll see, and yes, more procedural stuff for the folks who want that. Meanwhile, not that I'm terribly important, but as your narrator, my interaction with the trial changed as well. I'm back home in the rainy Pacific Northwest, sitting at my regular computer. I can't give all those added in-person details I could before, but at least now I can laugh and cough and fart all I want without anyone giving me the side eye. My paper notebooks are off in storage, replaced by my Dvorak-enabled keyboard. Of course, at the speed some people talk, keeping up wasn't any less of a workout for my poor hands. The change of medium also didn't prevent my notes from turning into any less of a sloppy mess, with words like inovlevd and quetstoining and fortuitously. Yes, those are actual things I typed into my live notes. And while Day 6 occurred on Tuesday in Brisbane, for me, it was Monday evening, from about 4 p.m. to midnight. I did encounter some technical snafus with the remote viewing link, and as a result I have enhanced my almost complete notes with those of some other fine folks who do not wish to be identified but whose contributions are very much appreciated. With that said, I do have full confidence that everything that follows is an accurate representation of how it all went down. As usual, if you have no idea what's going on, check out the previous updates here. https://perfectpacman.com/2024/09/15/carl-day-0 https://perfectpacman.com/2024/09/16/carl-day-1 https://perfectpacman.com/2024/09/17/carl-day-2/ https://perfectpacman.com/2024/09/18/carl-day-3/ https://perfectpacman.com/2024/09/19/carl-day-3-4 https://perfectpacman.com/2024/09/20/carl-day-4/ https://perfectpacman.com/2024/09/24/carl-day-5/. And all my regular caveats on these updates, I'll be giving this one a little more polish than my all-nighter updates from Australia, but it will still be quick and raw compared to my usual fare. I am not going to reintroduce stuff from my previous Carl vs. Billy posts, linked above, so I will assume you've read them. As a reminder though, BB refers to Billy's barrister, and KB refers to Carl's barrister. I'm normally very careful with quotes to make sure they're accurate, but I can usually re-listen to media to confirm. Since these are all one and done, there'll be plenty of times where I capture what I think is the essence of what was said. Anything in regular quotes should be considered word for word. Anything with brackets means not word for word, but conveys the meaning of what was said. And even then, I'm human and can make mistakes. Also, I'm just reporting what was said, without additional fact-checking. Nothing should necessarily be taken as fact just because someone said it here. A critical hit. With the change of medium, the start of the proceeding felt much more sudden. I couldn't mingle in the lobby, meaning, the physical lobby, and chat with folks and see who's coming in and out. Nor could I just peer around the courtroom occasionally, with the single courtroom window restricted to views of the barrister bench and the judge's chair, which would swap between them as needed. This window was also small, adjacent to the blank windows of others in attendance, and would be toggled even smaller when a document was put on display. But the platform did offer the opportunity to see who was present and waiting in the virtual lobby. Nobody had their cameras active, and most names I didn't recognize, and may not have even been real names. William Mitchell IV, Billy Jr., was there, likely watching with his mom, as they had inquired about at the end of day 5. However, reportedly, Mr. Mullet himself had returned to appear in person, which is probably a wise thing for a plaintiff to do. Before we get into the witnesses, note that it seems as though Jace Hall was originally slated to testify in Carl's defense. However, that ended up becoming a major legal quandary, with regard to an obligation in TG's settlement with Billy back in January. You can read all the details about that here, along with a major blunder by Billy's U.S. attorney Anthony Elrod, LOL. But in short, Jace did not ultimately appear in this case, nor was his testimony necessary. First witness of the day was the content creator known as MoistCR1Tikal. But that's a fucking pain in the ass to type out every time, so I'm just gonna call him Charlie. We're all used to seeing Charlie on his YouTube channel, disheveled, long hair everywhere, in a plain white shirt. But this was court. Recording and screenshotting was forbidden by court rules, so I couldn't show you any pictures, but dude dressed up sharp for the occasion. Nice suit jacket, washed hair back in a sexy man bun, sitting in his usual chair you always see him in, gold YouTube award in the background. KB began by asking Charlie about his occupation. Charlie described being a content creator, discussed his YouTube channel, Penguin Zero, which recently hit 16 million subscribers, and his Twitch channel. Of course, he had to explain to the normies what exactly Twitch was and how it worked. He also offered his Twitter and Instagram handles, and recalled his various follower and subscriber counts. KB then asked Charlie if he had any association with the video game community in Australia or internationally. Note that this is a question that KB will pose to most of Carl's witnesses throughout the day. While some questions are of course geared toward the individual being interrogated, the same foundational themes are established each time. In answer to this question, Charlie discussed his involvement with Moisty Sports, and the salaries paid for competitors in games like Apex Legends, Rocket League, and Smash Brothers. KB asks Charlie if he knows who Billy Mitchell is. Charlie recalled hearing about Billy from his failed lawsuit against Cartoon Network, adding that he then began paying more attention. When asked about the movie King of Kong, Charlie said he first watched it about 6 years ago, adding that he rewatched it again last night. LOL. KB asked Charlie what his understanding was of Billy's reputation before and after watching the documentary. Charlie said he did not have a positive view of Billy before King of Kong, and that afterward, his opinion was that Billy is a narcissist, a bully, and an all-around bad guy. Charlie confirmed he was aware of the dispute over Billy's scores at Twin Galaxies. When asked of his understanding of Billy's reputation just prior to that dispute, Charlie said Billy was already known as someone who would use lawsuits as a weapon. Charlie added that, when he heard of the Twin Galaxies lawsuit, he wasn't surprised or shocked, adding that he figured this would be another case where Billy was lashing out because he didn't like things people were saying about him. Even as this unfolded, it did seem Charlie was conflating the TG score dispute on the website in 2018 with the legal proceedings filed later. However, KB proceeded with other questions. KB asked Charlie if he could recall other litigations Billy had commenced. Charlie said he had the most familiarity with a previous lawsuit against Carl Jobst over an 8-second clip that was a joke, as well as the lawsuits against Apollo legend, David Race, and Cartoon Network. When asked when he learned of those, Charlie recalled learning of them as they happened, that it was on his radar because he covers lots of gaming-related news and information. When asked how it was put on his radar, Charlie said it was mainly through mainstream coverage and articles discussing it, as well as commenters on YouTube and Reddit discussing it. KB asked, aside from the current case in which he was testifying, what was Charlie's understanding of Billy's reputation immediately after those previous instances of litigation. Charlie said, Mr. Mitchell's reputation was, for lack of a better word, horrible. Charlie added that Billy was viewed for a long time as a bully, who is very manipulative and narcissistic, and that this reputation was solidified by the further lawsuits that kept coming up. Charlie continued, saying many in the industry saw Billy as a mean person and as a joke, adding that Billy was the punchline to many jokes for his behavior, and that people viewed him as a cartoon character with his blazer and Statue of Liberty ties. KB asked if he's seen Carl Jobst's video from May 2021. Charlie confirmed he has. KB asks for Charlie's understanding of Billy's reputation in the gaming community immediately after that video. Charlie said, I don't believe his reputation changed. It was in the exact same spot it had been for many years. KB had no further questions. BB began by lodging an objection, that Billy's rep is being characterized by witnesses citing mainstream articles outside of what was pleaded in Carl's formal defense. However, Judge said that one's reputation is broader than just articles, and noted that earlier objections had been entered to articles being used as evidence of reputation. BB began by asking Charlie about a YouTube video of his titled, He's a Cheater. BB asked Charlie to confirm it was produced earlier this year, following Billy's settlement with Twin Galaxies. BB then played the following portion. I'd like to start by addressing all of the individuals on Twitter that have been spamming me today, demanding that I give Billy Mitchell an apology. This is my official response to all of you. Farts into microphone. Almost fell off the chair on the way down. Billy Mitchell does not deserve an apology because Billy Mitchell is not innocent. You are letting him manipulate and lie to you, as he has done for his entire career. I don't think he's even able to accidentally tell the truth about anything. If a single truthful statement left the lips of Billy Mitchell, he'd probably be set on fire instantly, smited by the Lord. His whole core being, his soul, is entwined with his lies. Yes, that whole clip was played for the court, lol. BB asked Charlie if he indeed published that video because folks had contacted him, imploring him to apologize to Billy after the TG settlement. Charlie responded, it was a few people on Twitter who had always been defending Mr. Mitchell despite overwhelming evidence to the contrary. Charlie further explained that it's normal on the internet for some people to act like that even if they don't genuinely believe the position they're advancing. BB asked if it's evident from that clip that Charlie does not have a lot of respect for Billy. Charlie confirmed he does not, calling back again to Billy's reputation as a bully who files frivolous lawsuits against people he doesn't like. BB asked Charlie if he's ever met my client. Charlie confirmed he has not. BB asked, therefore, if Charlie's understanding of Billy comes only from things he's seen online. Charlie said his first impression of Billy goes back to the Cartoon Network lawsuit, but did acknowledge he had no way of learning about that lawsuit except through online articles. BB asked Charlie to discuss what he had referred to as mainstream articles. Judge then stepped in to ask Charlie directly what he means by mainstream articles. Charlie said it would refer to publications people would be familiar with, actual agencies, and that he doesn't try to get his information strictly from the likes of Twitter. Judge asked if Charlie considers mainstream articles to mean newspapers and magazines, if it involves online media. Charlie answered that some of these mainstream publications do have magazines or other associated media, but that he prefers to read about it online. BB then shows a series of comments replying to Charlie's "He's a Cheater" vid, and another video called "He's So Desperate Now." I was not able to identify 3 of the comments based on my notes, but the other 7 I was able to track down. You may immediately notice there's very little engagement with most of these. The random one about Girard seems like an outlier, but I was able to figure out that it was actually one of the replies to that comment which BB was attempting to highlight. BB attempted to tender this batch of 10 comments into evidence, triggering an objection from KB. This resulted in one of the lengthiest procedural fights of this whole proceeding. Bless Charlie, he patiently sat there through it all, trying to appear attentive the whole time the barristers argued. KB's argument was that, if these replies to "he's a cheater" were going to be tendered into evidence, it should be the totality of the 5,840 replies to that video, not just the 4 or so Billy's side has cherry-picked out of the whole. Note that the current number of comments on that video is over 100 lower than was stated in court, but the attorneys were reading the 5,840 number directly off the pages as they were previously screen-capped. KB also noted a secondary objection that the remarks amount to documentary hearsay. BB argued that the relevance of these few comments in particular go to the grapevine effect. Obviously these professionals did not stop to explain what exactly the grapevine effect means, but in short, it's the concept that defamation from one source can spread out by way of repetition from others. BB argued that, if KB wanted to tender the other comments as well, he should have pleaded and produced them. KB called the suggestion that he ought to have pleaded and produced the entirety of the comments nonsense, while pointing out that the video in question was never pleaded by the plaintiff. Judge offers to KB that he could tender other comments during re-examination. BB continued to plead his case, saying again that the wishes to establish the grapevine effect, where people are replying on a later video, on an unrelated topic, and are continuing to comment on Billy's alleged relations to Apollo's actions. Judge said the grapevine effect goes beyond selective comments about one aspect of a client's reputation, and that entering these comments would open KB up to tendering all of the comments upon re-examination. BB argued it depended on what those comments would go toward, and whether they directly relate to the grapevine effect. BB noted his objection to them being tendered toward the question of bad reputation, since those comments were not pleaded in that way. KB then raised the question of republication, and whether the concept of a grapevine effect was adequately acknowledged in plaintiff's pleading. To clarify, each side must present a pleading at the start of the proceeding, basically summarizing what they intend to argue and what sorts of evidence they will use to argue it. This is what gives the other side ample opportunity to prepare opposing evidence and material to cross-examine opposing witnesses. So, in order for BB to argue that there was a grapevine effect, he has to have included that argument in that pleading, which would have given Carl's side time to prepare a defense against it. As best as I can interpret my notes, it seems BB's pleading referred to republication, meaning when people reposted Carl's video, but that these comments don't qualify as a republication of the video. Judge countered that nobody, or very few, on the grapevine are expected to republish the exact publication, but they do talk about it, and perhaps even distort it, and that the allegation is therefore that those conversations increase harm to reputation, and can be taken into account. Judge then asserts that BB has adequately pleaded the grapevine effect in this way. KB then argued that this passage of the pleading lacks particulars, or any inference that the grapevine effect had any impact at all on Billy's reputation. Judge remarked that he wouldn't expect the pleading to include those sorts of comments from YouTube sites, but KB countered that he would expect it to when relevant inferences are being made. Judge said it's rare for there to be evidence of the extent of the grapevine, but KB said he can imagine situations where there would be. KB reiterated the problem is, BB put to a witness for comments out of over 5,000, and that the defense was told they could put the other 5,000 to the witness in a situation where they had no notice. KB said it's impossible in re-examination to put to this witness all 5,840 comments in hard copy, adding that if BB wishes to put those 4 comments to the witness, he should in fairness have to tender all the comments. Judge expressed his understanding of KB's line or argument, that it would show how much of an effect the contested video did or didn't have, if it was only 4 comments out of 5,000 that were adverse. KB lodged notice that, if Judge was against tendering all the comments, his submission would be that BB cherry-picked those 4 comments and refused to tender the remainder, and that the court should therefore infer that the other 5,000-plus comments would be supporting Carl's case, or, after admitting he misspoke, would not support Billy's case. Judge posed this question to BB, that if BB wants to rely on specific evidence to show the grapevine effect, he would ordinarily have to do so in the context of the entire grapevine and what was said, or otherwise the court would just make its own inference. BB agreed that's normal procedure, but since Carl's side called this witness late, they've done their research on his videos on Billy, and discovered comments that are actual evidence one normally wouldn't have of the grapevine effect, which BB said was fortuitous in this case. Judge pointed out that there could be comments in reply to those BB selected saying, "This is rubbish," and that could also go toward the effect of the grapevine. BB then argued it's not his job to prove the opposition's case, saying if they had wanted and had done their work, they could have produced them, but that it's not on his client to miss this opportunity. BB also pointed out that this is a witness they called, and that they could have asked him all this and they did not. KB then lodged a new objection, pointing out that BB referred to these comments as evidence in his case, and that none of it was disclosed. I got the sense that BB screwed up by referring to the comments as evidence, which qualified it as something different than the other sort of credit material they surprise witnesses with. Judge countered that it didn't have to be disclosed, and it wasn't in his possession. Confused, KB replied that it is in BB's possession. Judge asked KB when his side told the other party they would be calling Charlie to testify, to which KB said it was the 19th of September. That was day 4. Judge said he's not sure the plaintiff has to disclose a public document, which the defense had access to as well. Judge likened it to going to a library and collecting photocopies of relevant books, and the argument that they would have to be disclosed. KB countered that, when it is in plaintiff's possession and they're using it as evidence to further their case, then it's subject to disclosure. Judge said, unless it's under legal privilege, to which KB offered there's no indication these are covered by legal privilege. Judge then noted a distinction between BB's copies of the comments, and the comments as they exist online. KB offered BB to instead tender the website address, rather than copies of the comments, adding that he would withdraw his objection because it would point the court to all of the comments. Judge referred to this as the best evidence rule. When asked for his response by the judge, BB noted that the witness has already acknowledged the comments as responses made to his video. Judge then asked BB, isn't it like submitting a document that has a whole heap of deleted parts? I love how heap is such a common word in Australia that even judges casually use it. BB noted that it has been done, where certain paragraphs from depositions were tendered. Judge noted there was no objection to that, and that if the other party wanted the whole deposition tendered, they could have insisted on it. BB asserted that he is entitled to tender those specific selected comments, that the witness has confirmed they appear to be replies to his video. BB noted that's all he can do, adding, I don't know who these people making these comments are. Robocato 71 foot, am I supposed to call him? Judge finally allowed BB to tender those comments, notifying KB that if he wishes to tender the entirety of the other comments, he can do so, noting he can grant the opportunity to recall the witness later if he needs time to do so, as long as the testimony can be finished today.
New videos every Monday and Sunday. Thank you for joining me on another episode of the Gen X Gamer. Remember to like and subscribe, click that notification bell, and remember, never ever be afraid to be happy. I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.